Hello and welcome to Transforming Your Church, a series of short presentations on how, as you church board members, can lead your church in being all that God's called it to be and carrying out the mission God's given you. In this segment, I want to talk about a new members and visitors Sabbath school class. Now, a few churches have what's called a pastor's class, and that pastor's class is for people who might be interested in learning more about the church and its beliefs and perhaps being baptized. And that's a good thing. But I found that a pastor's class sometimes is taught by the pastor and sometimes by the elder, and it's not always defined what its purpose is. What I would like to encourage you to start is a new members and visitors Sabbath school class. It doesn't have to be a large class. It can just be 2 or 3 or 4, but you call it new members and visitors for a reason. You invite the new members, those who have just been baptized, you tell them, this is the class for you for the next 3 to 6 months. After you've been in it for a while, you can transfer to another class, but come to this class. And as new members, it's so easy to lose our new members if they're just told to go to any Sabbath school class anywhere. They just fall through the cracks and then we start missing them too late. But if you tell them this is the class for you, you're looking for them. And then you also tell them, as Jesus is changing your life as a new member, we want you to bring your friends and they're the visitors for this class. What do you study in this class? You study simple Bible study guides. You can use the Amazing Facts basic lessons. You can use the Storicles of Bible prophecy. You can use the Discover Bible lessons. You can use whatever materials that give a framework of what we believe as a Seventh-day Adventist church. But that little class needs to be easy to get to. It needs to be a friendly, comfortable atmosphere. And it needs to be a place where not only are you studying, but you're allowing the people to tell what's going on in their own lives. Who would teach this class? It could be a seasoned Sabbath school teacher, but I've found sometimes it's good to have a new member of the church who's only been a church member 2 to 3 years with one of the elders as a partner in the class. I learned this lesson in one of my churches when we asked one of those energetic, on-fire new members, baptized 2 years before, to teach the class. And if I had been teaching this class where we were going through the Revelation seminar materials, I would have gotten up and said, you know, in this lesson today, we could find all kinds of wonderful things and deep things about Revelation. But this new member steps up and says, how's it going? I want you to know this week has been tough for me. I almost found myself back in the bar when I was getting discouraged. But I prayed to the Lord and He gave me strength, and that's why I'm glad to be here today. What about you? And they started telling testimonies about the challenges in their life. And I thought, wow. And of course, there is an elder there, if need be, to speak up and try to correct a little theology. But the energy of having new members teach this new members class, and they bring their visitor friends. And then if somebody wants to learn to see if they might perhaps want to unite with the Seventh-day Adventist church, then you bring them to that class, and they're hearing these testimonies by people who are so glad they've decided to become Seventh-day Adventist, and it helps them think, I want to be a Seventh-day Adventist too. How do you do it? Oh, you study what we're studying right here, and then they can begin being brought in. A new members and visitors Sabbath school class. Carve out a little corner. Identify a leader or two for that class. And then watch what God begins doing when they're given the materials in bringing new people on a regular basis into God's final movement. I know God will bless you. Now, as a church board, I want you to discuss this idea and see what it'll take to put it into practice.